Hello and welcome to the post-race press conference for round 7 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship here in Mazzano. Congratulations to our podium sitters. We have race winner Pascal Wehrlein from Heuer Porsche, Jake Dennis from Andretti and Nick Cassidy from Jaguar TCS Racing. Quick word from each of you on the start of racing today versus yesterday. Starting with you, Pascal.
Yeah, I think it hasn't changed a lot. Obviously it was less laps, but also when there's more grip, it's more difficult to regenerate the energy, so recuperate the energy. Yeah, targets were a little bit higher, but I still feel like the beginning of the race is super chaotic, and for me it just feels like too much chaos, and it makes qualifying a bit irrelevant, which I feel like is also a bit of a shame. But yeah, nevertheless, we kept it clean today. That was important after yesterday. Just wanted to keep it clean in the beginning, and then the race unfolded our way.
Nick?
Yeah, from my side, I felt like it was a bit better than yesterday. Maybe the first 5 laps were quite similar, which was expected, and then I felt like the pace picked up pretty quick, and it was a bit more clean, and the overtakes were a bit more genuine. But yeah, so from my side, I felt like it was a step in the right direction. But I generally, as long as it's not too bad, I generally quite enjoy these races. In comparison to say Tokyo, where it's the complete opposite end of the spectrum, where it can be a bit dull for the fans, and as soon as the second attack mode's done, you know where you're finishing, whereas this has a little bit more excitement. And yeah, from my side, I feel like with the way Formula 1 is at the moment, it's important to bring something different, instead of just a procession of everyone just driving around in a train, because these cars are incredibly difficult to overtake in when we have a lot of energy, like way harder than anything else. In comparison to F1, F2, something like this, we don't have DRS. So we need this excitement, but there's just a balance. And I think Monaco last year was a great example. It was a really good race, had the perfect balance of energy, and then obviously Portland was a bit too extreme.
We'll come back to that discussion a bit more, but now just going back to yourself, Pascal, your second win of the season, really good way to bounce back on the disappointment of yesterday. Talk us through the way that the race panned out for you and the team.
Yeah, so we had a good start, like I said. In the beginning it was a bit chaotic, but once the race settled down a bit, I think it was a fight of 4 or 5 cars probably. And at a certain moment, I think Oliver and myself, we progressed a little bit more. I took over the lead, and initially it was the plan to keep the lead, but he was putting a lot of pressure, and like I was sure if I was trying to defend him, I would just struggle with energy. So in the end I didn't defend, I let him through, and my team kept telling me I'm 2-3% up on energy, so I was very surprised about that. And actually until the last or second last lap I was not even sure if that is correct or not. Yeah, and kind of his energy, I guess, was dying in the last lap, and that's when we took over. So yeah, really good job, and yeah, the right call to trust the information we had.
So you leave today with 26 points with the fastest lap as well, level with Jake. Good for the Porsche powertrain, it helped also to soften the blow of the Costa's weekend.
Yeah, definitely big redemption for the team today. We know we have a strong package. The good thing for us is that we've improved quite a lot in qualifying this season. But like I said, it doesn't really matter in those kind of races because it's so chaotic initially, and we just have to keep it clean. But yeah, very happy about qualifying. We know we have a strong race car, and we've proven that all of us Porsche drivers there, we have a strong package. So yeah, very happy about today. Obviously, there's still a crying eye about yesterday, just in general, that we didn't score any points yesterday. But the season is still long. It goes quickly from 0 to hero or the other way around. So we just need to keep working hard, do our thing, not getting any penalties or disqualifications. I'm sure we will do well.
This is a place you've been before, level at the top of the standings, but does this season, does it feel like it's going to be more of a challenging task in order to keep it that way? Over last season, for example.
Sorry, say that again.
Is it going to be harder to win the championship this year?
I don't know, I think it's difficult every year.
Of course, but does it feel like the competition has stepped up to the point? I mean, just looking at the point score, at least, this stage of the season is high.
Yeah, for sure there are more people in the mix, I would say. So we've seen that the Nissans catch up quite a lot, and also the S is strong, so it just feels like there are more drivers in the mix compared to last year. But in the end there's just one winner, and I think that is always difficult.
Thank you very much. Jake, just come to you, then we'll move on to you, Nick. Another good climb today, another podium, more consistency as well to boot. Muller certainly kept you on your toes at the end. It was all getting pretty close, pretty hairy. How was it for you in the last few laps?
Yeah, it was a tough race for us, to be honest. We really struggled with a few things inside of the car, generally all weekend, but especially in that race then. I didn't have great efficiency due to not a great balance, and then you've got a bad balance, then it's generally a long race ahead. So yeah, really happy to come home, obviously second on what's been a really difficult weekend in terms of pure pace. So yeah, a lot of homework for us to do as a team, but yeah, I think on weekends like this, it's important that you just get the points you can, whether that was a fourth or a fifth or a second, then you take what you can. But yeah, overall leaving here pretty pleased, just a lot of work to do.
Certainly felt like a more flat-out race than yesterday, but it still had almost just as many incidents or retirements. You mentioned yesterday that you were looking for a more refined version of racing on circuits like this. Was that today?
It was definitely more refined, for sure. I think the biggest issue is the chicane. The way it pinches so much really doesn't allow too much to go like too wide through there, and it's a bit too much of a stop-start. I think Portland's first chicane has a better compromise, but the straights are much longer in Portland, much wider, so then you get 8 wide or something like that. Whereas here, I think you have 2-3 wide into a Portland chicane, I think it would be quite nice. But when you have 2-3 wide into a single file chicane, which is 50 kph, it's incredibly difficult for us to judge the Constantina effect. But yeah, I think if we come back here next year, it just needs to be a tuning through turns 8 and 9. I think everything else was pretty well aligned. I think sector 1 in general worked well. You could really dive bomb someone on the inside into turns 2. So I feel like the track was better than I thought it was going to be. It's just 8-9 chicane just needs a bit of refining for next year.
Nick, moving on to yourself, it was a good little battle with Muller at the end there, very entertaining to watch. You managed to get him just before the line. Those victories of getting into a podium spot like that must come with a bit extra adrenaline.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, tough luck to them. They did a good job today, and Nico was driving well, and yeah, I almost feel sorry for them.
Getting a sense of disappointment, can you give us an insight into why that might be?
I don't know. No disappointment. I think we're P3. It's nice to be back on the podium. Feels like a long time. Feels like Sao Paulo and Tokyo we were strong. It was a big disappointment to not score big points there, but quite frankly we were nowhere this weekend in the races, so a lot of work to do.
It is, I guess, slightly bittersweet as well for the team with the disappointing run for Mitch today. What are you going to take away from this weekend into the rest of the season?
Well, I just think we're in for a very tough season. Amazing Porsches with a lot of work to do. I think the Mahindras, the Apps, the Nissans and the McLarens, the TS all proved that they were strong packages today. So really nice that we're getting a podium considering that, but in race trim we've got a lot of work to do. So yeah, it's going to be a tough few weekends.
So then, looking forward to the next race, Monaco. It was only a year ago that you had a very successful day out there. Maybe hoping for the same again. How possible do you think that might be?
Yeah, it's a super nice fan race from last year. Great Formula E event. Probably only the third to last street race round Monaco and London, that's it for the rest of the year. That sucks. But Monaco will be great. This time we're 3 of the top 4 on quality last year and improved a lot in the race, so this year it could be a lot more difficult, but of course we'll do our best.
Certainly going to be very, very competitive. A chance for a few questions from the floor. Yeah.